Okay, let's talk about virtual try-on. It feels like straight up magic, right? But it's not. It's actually some really complex, fascinating engineering. So in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain and see how you build one of these things from the ground up. Come on, we've all been there, right? You buy some clothes online, they look amazing on the model, and then they just don't fit. It's that classic online shopping gamble. But, this is a problem that AI is really starting to tackle. The whole idea here is to turn your screen into a personal fitting room. I mean, you've probably seen this with glasses online, right? Well, imagine having that same confidence for your entire wardrobe. This isn't just about seeing the clothes, it's about knowing they're gonna fit. So, how does this stuff actually get built? Well, it's not just one single program. Think of it more like an intricate digital assembly line. And before we can get that line running, we gotta assemble our digital toolbox first. All right, so in our toolbox, we've got three key types of components. First up, the AI models. These are the powerful brains doing the heavy lifting, generating the images. Then you have the custom nodes. Think of these as specialized tools for very specific individual jobs. And finally, there's this really cool thing called Allura. It's like a specialist guide that teaches the main AI a brand new skill without having to retrain the whole entire thing. Super important. And just to be clear, we're not building a simple machine here. To get just one of these virtual try-on workflows up and running, you need a grand total of 6 different core AI models, and they all have to work together perfectly. So each of these models has a super specific job. It's like a real assembly line. You've got the Qwen model, which is kind of like the master artist, creating that final image. Then there's ControlNet. That's our pose director. It figures out the person's exact posture. And then you have models like YoloX and DW Pose. These are the body scanners that map out the human form. It's a whole team of specialists, each doing one thing really, really well. And this is why that LoRa file is so important. Think of it like this. It's a tiny expert plugin for our master artist. The main AI model, it already knows how to draw, right? But the LoRa is this small file that comes in and teaches it how to be an expert fashion designer. How to render the drape of fabric, the way shadows play across it, all the little intricacies of fit. It's just an incredibly efficient way to teach an old AI new tricks. Okay, so we've got our parts. Now let's actually build the assembly line. We're going to follow the data as it moves through this digital factory, all the way from raw material to the finished product. So, step 1, it all starts with a picture. The system gets an image of the person who wants to try on the clothes. That's our raw material. Instantly, that image gets sent over to our pose director, which is ControlNet. What it does is it analyzes the person and creates this kind of digital skeleton of their pose. It maps out the exact position of their arms, their torso, their legs, everything. This is what makes sure the clothing is going to hang and drape correctly. Okay, at the very same time, the assembly line gets its second piece of raw material, an image of the clothing itself. This is the new part that our little digital factory is about to add to the assembly. And here's where the magic really happens. This is the heart of the whole operation. The master artist, that Qwen model, takes that digital skeleton and the clothing image, then, with the expert guidance from our specialist LoRa file, it generates a totally new image, just seamlessly weaving the two together. But, as anyone who's ever built anything knows, it's never that smooth. You can have the perfect plan, the perfect blueprint, but sometimes the machinery just breaks down. And that's exactly what happened here. During the build, they hit a developer's worst nightmare. The system just stopped. It threw an error because a critical file, one of the main brains of the whole operation, was completely empty. Zero data, nothing. And this just perfectly shows you the scale of the problem. The entire assembly line is waiting for this massive 13 gigabyte model file to show up. And what does it get instead? A totally empty file. 0 kilobytes of data. You can just imagine, the entire digital factory grinds to a complete halt. And you know what? The fix wasn't some simple automated thing. Nope. A real human engineer had to manually dive in, find that broken file, delete it, hunt down the correct public download link, and then sit there and re-download all 13 gigabytes of it. All just to get the right part back into the machine. All right, so with all those glitches fixed and the right parts finally installed, the assembly line is ready to go. So let's see what this whole complex system actually puts out at the end. And when you look at the final workflow, it's not just a couple of simple connections. No way. It's this complex web of over 18
interconnected nodes. And you can think of each node as a single station on our assembly line, right? Each one processing a bit of information and then passing it on to the next one, all in this perfectly orchestrated dance. So let's do a super quick recap of the whole AI assembly line. Step 1, analyze the person's pose. Step 2, get the picture of the clothes. Step 3, the main Quinn model generates the new combined image. Step 4, the LoRa comes in and refines all those little clothing details. And then step 5, you get the final virtual try-on image. Boom. Done. So why does any of this matter? Well, the big takeaway here is that behind every single one of these magical AI features that you see, there's always a story of incredible, really complex, and honestly, often messy engineering. It's a combination of brilliant AI models, sure, but also painstaking connections and good old-fashioned human problem solving. And all of this leaves us with a pretty fascinating thought, doesn't it? As this kind of technology gets better and better, it's going to do a lot more than just help you avoid returning a shirt. I mean, if your AI can be your personal stylist, what's next? How is this going to completely reshape the way we shop, discover, and maybe even think about fashion itself?